Hello again. Mark Luke Carrier here with a 16th reading of my upcoming novel, which should be published by uh, early or late uh, autumn of this year. Now, we're continuing with the further adventures or misadventures of Nigel Fanshawe, Dr. Nigel Fanshawe, curator of works on paper at this huge San Dementia, California museum. I was looking forward to a sleep in on Saturday morning, but it was not to be. Horsey shook me awake at around 7. That's his wife, Horsey. Time to get up, she said. Ananda Shawarma will be here any minute now. I rubbed the sleep from my eyes and wondered why in hell she would order Levantine fast food for breakfast. Bacon and eggs fine for me, I said in a voice still heavy with sleep. She threw me a puzzled look. I can't eat shawarma at this time in the morning, I explained. I certainly hope not. I'd like to think that you wouldn't eat shawarma at any time of day. I had it a few times in London, I said, sitting on the edge of the bed, yawning with great gusto and running my fingers through my hair. Small Lebanese place near Sodding. Great stuff after a night of drinking. What are you talking about, she said. And then it all came back to me, like the sudden realization that it was the morning of a big exam, or a day you're due in court, worse, the morning of your execution. In a moment of weakness for which I would never forgive myself, I'd agreed that Horsey and I would take Ananda Shawarma's child for the weekend. I kicked my brain into high gear, desperately trying to find an excuse for begging off, trying to find a credible alibi for Horsey to call Amanda Shawarma and cancel the whole thing before it was too late. It was too late. The doorbell rang, and Horsey rushed out of the bedroom. It was Ananda. I stumbled into the foyer to discover that Ananda was a rather enigmatic character. She, he, Ananda's gender was impossible to determine at first sight. I didn't know whether to call her Miss, Mrs., Ms., Mr., so I settled on a noncommittal, nice to meet you, Ananda Shawarma. And you, Ananda answered, giving me a Buddhist-style bow, her voice providing no clue to gender. The kid being released upon us was similarly rather sexless. Could have been a boy, could have been a girl. I dodged the issue by asking, "What's your lovely child's name?" "For now we use the designation Offspring One," answered the asexual creature called Ananda Shawarma. "What a lovely name," I said. And then I addressed the kid. And what do they call you for short? Off? Off one? Oh, what? We don't want to force gender on the child, said Ananda Shawarma. That would be a surefire way to end up with a messed up adult chakras. Yes, I said, making a show of understanding what Ananda was talking about. None of us want a messed up one of those. You're so right. I know exactly what you mean, said Horsey, after throwing me a murderous look. Imposing sexual stereotypes can be soul-destroying. And, said Amanda, nodding enthusiastically, it can lead to major developmental problems like repeated identity crises, passive-aggressive behavior, attention deficit disorder, obsessive-compulsive syndrome, added Horsey. I thought I'd show compassion by saying, diabetes. They gave me a blank look. Nanda said, I will allow a choice of sexual orientation at age 18, but until then it remains Offspring One. Ananda Shawarma handed Horsey a sheet of paper listing do's and don'ts. Offspring One is on a strict gluten-free diet, also no nuts, certainly no sugar, and no animal fat of any kind. The only food I allow him is fruits and vegetables, but strictly organic. Ananda Shawarma left, and we were alone with the child. The kid was a lively little critter. Took our eyes off it for a split second, and it went missing somewhere in the house. I searched high and low until I found it in the den, pissing on my $6,000 Bang & Olufsen sound system. I lunged, shouting, "No!" It turned and gave me a swift kick and very painful fucking kick in the shin, spitting out what could only be its first few words, "Fuck off." Well, there'll be more of that kid, and he just gets worse. Before we go, a blatant mercantile pitch for my book, which is currently on the market, available at Amazon and Barnes and Noble and just about everywhere worldwide. It comes in paperback, like this, hardback, and ebook, Kindle, Kobo, or Nook. As I mentioned before in the last episode, you get a lovely synopsis, a picture of me, and a little biography of me, of which I must say most of it is true. Most of it. Anyway, buy it. You'll enjoy it. That's it for now. I'll see you shortly with more of the misadventures of Dr. Nigel Fernshaw. Try that again. Dr. Nigel Fanshawe. There we go.